Let's begin our journey in the imaginary village of Palampur, a place that serves as a window into rural life and the basics of production. Palampur is not just about farming, though that's the main activity here. The village also buzzes with small-scale manufacturing, dairy, and transport services. Through the story of Palampur, we'll explore how different resources, like land, labor, capital, and human effort, come together to create goods and services. As we move through each scene, you'll see how these elements shape the lives of Palampur's residents and the village's economy. Palampur stands out for its well-developed infrastructure. The village is connected to nearby towns and villages by an all-weather road, making transport easy and reliable. You'll see a variety of vehicles on this road, from bullock carts and tongas to motorcycles and trucks. The village boasts 2 primary schools, a high school, a government-run health center, and a private dispensary. Electricity powers homes, tube wells, and small businesses, supporting both daily life and economic activity. This strong foundation sets Palampur apart from many other villages in India. Palampur is home to about 450 families from different castes and backgrounds. The upper caste families, who own most of the land, live in large brick houses, while the SC's Dalits make up a third of the population and reside in smaller, often mud and straw houses. Despite these differences, most homes have access to electricity. This diversity shapes the social and economic fabric of the village, influencing everything from land ownership to access to resources and opportunities. Story of Palampur introduces us to 2 main types of production activities: farming and non-farm activities. While farming is the backbone, non-farm activities like small manufacturing, shopkeeping, and transport also play a role. Each of these requires a mix of resources: natural, man-made, human effort, and money. As we move forward, we'll see how these resources are combined and managed to produce goods and services, and how they impact the lives of villagers. To produce anything, 4 key requirements must be met: land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. Land includes all natural resources, while labor refers to the people who do the work, some highly skilled, others performing manual tasks. Physical capital is split into fixed capital, like tools, machines, and buildings, and working capital, raw materials, and money in hand. Finally, human capital, knowledge, and enterprise brings everything together, enabling production to happen efficiently. Every production activity in Palampur is organized by combining land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. These are known as the factors of production. For example, a factory in the village uses land for its building, labor to operate machines, and capital in the form of equipment and money. Understanding how these factors interact helps us see how goods and services are created, not just in Palampur but everywhere. Palampur, farming is the main source of livelihood for 75% of the working population. These people are either farmers or farm laborers, and their well-being is closely tied to the success of agriculture. However, there's a major limitation: the land available for cultivation is fixed. Since 1960, there's been no expansion in cultivated land, so farmers must find ways to increase production without expanding their fields. Land in Palampur is measured in hectares, a standard unit used across India. 1 hectare is the area of a square with sides of 100 meters. While local units like bigha or gintha are sometimes used, understanding hectares helps compare land sizes more easily. This is important when discussing how much land is available for farming and how it's distributed among families. Get more from the same land. Palampur's farmers practice multiple cropping, growing more than 1 crop on the same field in a year. All farmers grow at least 2 main crops, and many have added potatoes as a 3rd crop. During the rainy season, they plant jowar and bajra, which are used as cattle feed. Potatoes are grown between October and December, and wheat is sown in winter. Some land is also used for sugarcane, harvested once a year. Key reason Palampur's farmers can grow 3 crops a year is the village's advanced irrigation system. Electricity arrived early, transforming irrigation from traditional Persian wheels to electric tube wells. This allowed farmers to irrigate larger areas more efficiently, leading to higher crop yields and more reliable harvests. Not all villages in India have such extensive irrigation, making Palampur unique. Green Revolution in the late 1960s brought high-yielding varieties, HYV, of seeds to Indian farmers, including those in Palampur. These seeds, combined with chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and improved irrigation, significantly increased crop yields. For example, wheat yields jumped from 1,300 kg to 3,200 kg per hectare. However, these modern methods require more cash and resources than traditional farming, making it harder for small farmers to keep up. While modern farming methods have boosted production, they've also led to environmental problems. Overuse of chemical fertilizers can reduce soil fertility and pollute water sources. Continuous use of groundwater for irrigation has lowered water tables. These issues highlight the need for sustainable farming practices to protect natural resources for future generations. Land is not distributed equally in Palampur. About 1/3 of the 450 families are landless, most of them Dalits. Of the families who own land, 240 cultivate small plots less than 2 hectares, which often don't provide enough income. Only 60 families are medium or large farmers, with some owning more than 10 hectares. This unequal distribution affects income, opportunities, and social status in the village. Farming in Palampur involves both traditional and modern methods. Some farmers still use bullocks for plowing and natural manure for fertilizing, while others have adopted tractors, chemical fertilizers, and pesticides. The choice of method often depends on the size of the farm and the resources available to the farmer. This mix of old and new reflects the gradual transition in rural India. Farm laborers in Palampur like Dala and Ramkali face tough conditions. They don't own land and must work for daily wages, which are often below the government's minimum. There's heavy competition for work, so many accept lower pay just to survive. Their lives are marked by uncertainty, hard labor, and limited opportunities, making them some of the poorest in the village. Wages for farm laborers in Palampur vary widely and are often paid in cash, kind, or even meals. Employment can be for a day, a season, or a whole year depending on the needs of the farmer. Because there are more people seeking work than jobs available, wages stay low and job security is weak. This situation pushes many to seek work in nearby towns or cities. Modern farming requires significant capital for seeds, fertilizers, irrigation, and machinery. Small farmers often lack the savings to cover these costs and must borrow money, usually from large farmers or local moneylenders at high interest rates. This can lead to a cycle of debt and hardship, especially if crops fail or prices drop. Small farmers like Savita must borrow money at high interest rates and often work as laborers to repay their loans. In contrast, medium and large farmers use their own savings to finance the next season's farming. They can also invest in new equipment or expand into non-farm activities, giving them more stability and opportunities for growth. After harvest, farmers keep some of their produce for family use and sell the surplus in the market. Small farmers have little surplus, while medium and large farmers supply most of the wheat to the market. Traders buy the wheat and sell it to shopkeepers in towns and cities, creating a link between rural producers and urban consumers. Dairy is another important activity in Palampur. Many families keep buffaloes and sell milk to traders in nearby Rayganj. The milk is collected and chilled before being transported to distant towns and cities. This provides an additional source of income for villagers and connects Palampur to wider markets. Manufacturing in Palampur is done on a small scale, often at home or in the fields using family labor. For example, Ms. Hrilal runs a sugarcane crushing unit while Kareem has opened a computer class center. These ventures use simple methods and limited capital, but they provide valuable income and employment beyond farming. Palampur has a handful of shopkeepers who buy goods from wholesale markets in the city and sell them in the village. These small general stores offer everything from food and toiletries to stationery and clothing. Some families have even opened small shops near the bus stand, selling snacks and daily essentials. Transport is a growing sector in Palampur. Rickshaw pullers, tongawalas, jeep and truck drivers, and even traditional bullock carts ferry people and goods between Palampur and Rayganj. Improved roads and increased demand have created more jobs in transport, helping villagers earn extra income. Shura, a farm laborer, improved his life by taking a government loan to buy a buffalo. He now sells milk and uses his buffalo cart for transport work, carrying goods like clay and jaggery. This diversification has increased his income and made him less dependent on farm wages alone, showing how non-farm activities can change lives. Over the years, farming in Palampur has changed dramatically. New methods have increased crop yields but also put pressure on land and natural resources. Medium and large farmers can use their savings to invest in the next season, while small farmers struggle with debt and low production. Labor is abundant, but jobs are limited, pushing many to seek work elsewhere or in non-farm sectors. Currently, only about 24% of rural workers in India are engaged in non-farm activities. In Palampur, these include dairy, manufacturing, trade, and transport. While each activity employs only a few people, they offer hope for diversifying income and reducing dependence on farming. Expanding these sectors requires access to capital and markets. To start non-farm activities, villagers need capital either from their own savings or through loans. Low-interest loans are crucial for those without savings, enabling them to set up businesses and improve their livelihoods. As more villages get better roads and communication, opportunities for non-farm activities are likely to increase. Markets in nearby towns and cities are essential for selling goods produced in Palampur, from milk and jaggery to wheat. Improved roads, transport, and communication help connect the village to these markets, making it easier for villagers to earn income and expand their businesses. Small farmers face many challenges: limited land, lack of capital, and dependence on high-interest loans. Their production is often just enough for family needs, leaving little surplus to sell or save. Many must work as laborers or seek non-farm jobs to make ends meet. Addressing these issues is key to improving rural livelihoods. Story of Palampur highlights both the progress and the challenges of rural India. As farming methods evolve and non-farm activities grow, there's hope for better livelihoods and more opportunities. Ensuring access to capital, markets, and sustainable practices will be crucial for the future. With continued development, villages like Palampur can become models of rural prosperity and resilience. Welcome to our exploration of people as resource. In this video, we'll uncover how a country's population, often seen as a challenge, can actually be its greatest asset. By investing in education, health, and skill development, people transform into valuable contributors to economic growth. We'll see how this concept shifts the focus from viewing population as a burden to recognizing its potential as human capital. Throughout this journey, we'll use real-life stories, data, and examples to illustrate how individuals, when nurtured and empowered, become the driving force behind a nation's progress. India's Green Revolution and IT Revolution are prime examples of how knowledge and human capital can transform a nation. The Green Revolution introduced advanced agricultural techniques, rapidly increasing food production and making better use of scarce land. Later, the IT revolution showcased how skilled human capital could outshine even material resources, placing India on the global technology map. These revolutions highlight the power of investing in people. When individuals are educated and trained, they innovate, adapt, and drive progress in ways that physical resources alone cannot achieve. Additionally, a large population is seen as a strain on resources. But what if we look at people as assets instead? When a country invests in its people through education, training, and healthcare, the population becomes human capital. This means individuals possess skills and knowledge that boost productivity and contribute to the gross national product. Just like investing in machines or infrastructure, investing in people yields returns in the form of higher incomes and economic growth. The key is to focus on developing the existing human resource into a productive force. Human capital formation happens when people become more educated and healthier. This process is similar to building physical capital like factories or machines, but instead it's about enhancing people's abilities. Investments in education, training, and medical care increase the productive power of individuals. As a result, these individuals can earn higher incomes and contribute more to society. The benefits are not just personal; society as a whole gains when its members are skilled and healthy, creating a ripple effect of progress. Investing in human capital pays off much like investing in physical assets. When people receive better education and healthcare, their productivity increases, leading to higher earnings. This is evident in the way skilled and healthy individuals can secure better jobs and contribute more effectively to the economy. The returns are visible not only in personal income, but also in the overall prosperity of the nation. As more people become productive, the country's economic output grows, benefiting everyone. Large population doesn't have to be a burden. With the right investments in education and health, people can become productive assets. Training workers in modern technology, supporting scientific research, and ensuring access to healthcare are all ways to unlock the potential of the population. When people are empowered, they innovate, create, and drive economic growth. This positive perspective encourages us to see the value in every individual and the collective strength they bring to the nation. Let's look at the story of Sakal, a boy from Semapur village. Encouraged by his parents, Sakal attended school and later pursued a vocational course in computers. His dedication paid off. He secured a job in a private firm and even developed new software that boosted the company's sales. Sakal's journey shows how education and skill development can transform lives, turning individuals into valuable assets for their families and the economy. His success also inspired others in his community to value education. In contrast, Vilas, another boy from the same village, faced a different reality. After losing his father early, Vilas' family struggled financially. He couldn't attend school and suffered from health issues that went untreated. Without education or proper healthcare, Vilas was forced to follow in his mother's footsteps, selling fish for a meager income. His story highlights the challenges faced by those who lack access to education and health services, and how this limits their opportunities and potential. Stories of Sakal and Vilas illustrate the impact of investment in human capital. Sakal's education and good health enabled him to secure a skilled job and contribute to economic growth. Vilas, without these opportunities, remained in low-income, unskilled work. This comparison shows how education and health can break the cycle of poverty and open doors to better livelihoods. It also emphasizes the importance of supporting all individuals to reach their full potential. People are educated and healthy, the benefits extend beyond their own lives. Not only do they earn higher incomes, but society as a whole gains. Educated individuals can help others, share knowledge, and contribute to community development. The advantages of human capital spread, creating a more prosperous and resilient society. This ripple effect is why investing in people is considered superior to investing in land or machines. People can use and improve all other resources. Human capital stands out from other resources like land and physical capital. While land and machines are important, they cannot be productive on their own. It's people, through their skills, knowledge, and creativity, who make use of these resources. This unique ability to innovate and adapt makes human capital the most valuable asset for any nation. Investing in people ensures that all other resources are used efficiently and effectively. Virtuous cycle occurs when educated and healthy parents invest in their children's education and well-being, leading to even greater opportunities for the next generation. On the other hand, a vicious cycle traps disadvantaged families in poverty, as lack of education and poor health are passed down. Breaking this cycle requires targeted investments in education and healthcare, especially for the underprivileged, to ensure everyone has a chance to succeed. Japan's remarkable development is a testament to the power of human capital. Despite having few natural resources, Japan invested heavily in education and health. Its people became highly skilled and innovative, making efficient use of imported resources. As a result, Japan transformed into a rich and developed nation, proving that investing in people can overcome even the greatest natural limitations. Economic activities are divided into three main sectors: primary, secondary, and tertiary. The primary sector includes agriculture, fishing, and mining. The secondary sector covers manufacturing, while the tertiary sector involves services like trade, transport, education, and healthcare. Each sector plays a vital role in the economy, providing jobs and adding value to national income. Understanding these sectors helps us see how people contribute in different ways. Economic activities can be market-based or non-market. Market activities are performed for pay or profit, such as producing goods or providing services. Non-market activities like cooking for the family or growing food for personal use do not generate income but are still essential. Both types of activities contribute to society, but only market activities are counted in the national income. Men often face challenges in the workforce, such as lower pay and less job security compared to men. Many women work in informal sectors without benefits like maternity leave or childcare. However, women with higher education and skills can earn salaries equal to men, especially in fields like teaching and medicine. Empowering women through education and skill development is crucial for achieving equality and boosting economic growth. In many families, there is a traditional division of labor. Women handle domestic chores while men work outside. This work, though essential, is often unpaid and not recognized in national income calculations. Recognizing and valuing all forms of work, including household tasks, is important for a fair and inclusive economy. Quality of a country's population depends on literacy rates, health, and skill formation. Literate and healthy people are more productive and contribute more to economic growth. Improving these factors is key to building a strong and prosperous nation. Investments in education and healthcare raise the overall quality of the population, leading to higher growth rates. Education is a powerful tool for personal and societal growth. For individuals like Sackle, education opened doors to better jobs and higher incomes. For society, it enhances national income, cultural richness, and governance. Policies like universal access to education and vocational training aim to equip more people with the skills needed for modern jobs, ensuring that everyone can contribute to and benefit from economic progress. India's literacy rates have risen significantly since independence, from 18% in 1951 to 85% in 2018. However, disparities remain. Literacy is higher among males and in urban areas. Efforts like the Samagra Shiksha scheme and midday meal programs aim to improve access and retention, especially for girls and disadvantaged groups. Continued investment in education is essential for closing these gaps and building a more equitable society. India has seen a massive expansion in higher education, with the number of colleges and universities growing rapidly. This increase has allowed more students to pursue advanced studies and acquire specialized skills. However, challenges remain in ensuring quality and matching education with job market needs. Continued focus on vocational and technical education will help bridge the gap between education and employment. Good health is essential for realizing one's potential and contributing to society. Over the past decades, India has improved its health infrastructure, increasing life expectancy and reducing infant mortality. Access to healthcare, nutrition, and family welfare services is crucial, especially for the underprivileged. Healthy individuals are more productive, confident, and able to participate fully in economic life. India's health infrastructure has expanded with more hospitals, dispensaries, and medical professionals. This growth supports better health outcomes and helps build a stronger workforce. However, disparities in access and quality remain, especially in rural areas. Continued investment is needed to ensure everyone benefits from improved healthcare services. Unemployment exists when people willing to work at current wages cannot find jobs. In India, unemployment takes different forms in rural and urban areas. Rural areas face seasonal and disguised unemployment, while urban areas struggle with educated unemployment. Understanding these types helps in designing policies to create more and better job opportunities. Seasonal unemployment occurs when people can't find work during certain times of the year, especially in agriculture. Disguised unemployment happens when more people are working on a task than needed, with some contributing little or nothing to output. Both types are common in rural India and highlight the need for diversification and skill development. Educated unemployment is a growing concern in urban India. Many young people with degrees are unable to find suitable jobs. This mismatch between education and job market needs leads to wasted potential and frustration. Addressing this issue requires aligning education with industry demands and promoting skill-based training. Unemployment leads to wasted human resources and increased economic burden on working members of society. It can cause feelings of hopelessness, lower quality of life, and reduced access to education and healthcare. High unemployment is a sign of a struggling economy and highlights the importance of creating more opportunities for meaningful work. Rural areas, self-employment in agriculture is common, often involving the whole family. However, surplus labor leads to disguised unemployment and low incomes. Over time, surplus workers migrate to cities in search of better opportunities, shifting the employment structure towards manufacturing and services. This migration reflects the need for more diverse and productive jobs in rural areas. Imagine a village where families once produced only enough for themselves. When one family invested in education, their son became an agro-engineer and improved farming techniques, increasing yields. Inspired, others sent their children to school and new jobs like teacher and tailor emerged. This transformation shows how investing in human capital can create prosperity and new opportunities, even in the most unlikely places. Summary: people are the most valuable resource a country can have. By investing in education, health, and skill development, we turn population into human capital, driving economic growth, innovation, and prosperity. Addressing challenges like unemployment and inequality requires continued focus on empowering every individual. When people thrive, the nation thrives. Let's recognize and nurture the potential within every person to build a brighter future for all. Poverty is one of the most pressing challenges faced by independent India. It affects millions of people across the country, shaping their daily lives and limiting their opportunities. In this video, we'll explore the many dimensions of poverty, how it's measured, and the efforts made to reduce it. We'll look at real-life examples, discuss the causes, and examine the government's role in tackling this issue. By the end, you'll have a deeper understanding of why poverty remains a central concern and what steps are being taken to address it. In our daily lives, we often encounter people who struggle with poverty. They might be landless laborers in rural villages or families living in overcrowded urban slums. These individuals face constant challenges, from finding enough food to securing a safe place to live. Poverty is not just about a lack of money, it's about the absence of basic necessities and opportunities. The stories of people like Ram Saran and Laka Singh, which we'll explore next, bring these realities to life and help us understand the human side of this issue. M. Saran, a 33-year-old daily wage laborer, works in a wheat flour mill near Ranchi, Jharkhand. His monthly earnings are irregular and barely enough to support his family of 6. His wife Santa Devi works as a part-time maid and their elder son helps out at a tea shop. Despite everyone's efforts, the family struggles to afford basic meals, clothing, and shelter. Their home is a temporary shack on the city's outskirts, and luxuries like new clothes or shoes are rare. Ram Saran's story highlights the harsh realities faced by many urban poor families in India. Laka Singh lives in a small village near Meerut, Uttar Pradesh. His family owns no land and relies on odd jobs for big farmers. Their income is uncertain, sometimes paid in food rather than money. The family lives in a kucha hut, and basic necessities like soap and oil are considered luxuries. Laka's father died of tuberculosis due to lack of medication, and his mother now suffers from the same disease. Despite these hardships, Laka is happy that his children can attend school, a hope for a better future. His story reflects the struggles of rural poverty in India. Stories of Ram Saran and Laka Singh reveal that poverty is multidimensional. It's not just about hunger or lack of shelter, but also about the inability to provide nutritious food, access medical treatment, or secure clean water and sanitation. Poverty means living without a regular job, facing constant uncertainty, and experiencing a deep sense of helplessness. Poor people often face mistreatment in various places, from government offices to hospital. This multidimensional nature makes poverty a complex challenge that requires comprehensive solutions. Social exclusion is a key concept in understanding poverty. It refers to the process where certain groups or individuals are excluded from facilities, benefits, and opportunities that others enjoy. In India, the caste system is a classic example, where some castes are denied equal opportunities. Social exclusion can be both a cause and a consequence of poverty, making it harder for affected groups to break the cycle. This exclusion often leads to greater damage than just low income, as it limits access to education, jobs, and social equality. Vulnerability describes the higher risk certain communities or individuals face of becoming or remaining poor. Factors like lack of assets, education, health, and job opportunities increase vulnerability. For example, members of backward castes, widows, or people with disabilities are more likely to suffer during natural disasters or economic downturns. Vulnerability is not just about current poverty but about the likelihood of being worse off when times get tough, making it a crucial aspect in poverty analysis. Social scientists use a variety of indicators to measure poverty. Traditionally, income and consumption levels were the main criteria. However, modern approaches include health, education, and living standards. The National Multidimensional Poverty Index (NMPI) uses indicators like nutrition, child mortality, years of schooling, and access to basic services. By considering these multiple factors, the NMPI provides a more comprehensive picture of poverty, helping policymakers target interventions more effectively. The heart of poverty measurement is the concept of the poverty line. This is an imaginary line that separates the poor from the non-poor, based on income or consumption needed to meet basic needs. In India, the poverty line was traditionally set by calculating the minimum food, clothing, and other essentials required for survival. The calorie requirement was a key factor, with rural areas needing more due to physical labor. Over time, the poverty line has been updated to reflect changing prices and social norms. While the consumption-based poverty line focuses on income and spending, the National Multidimensional Poverty Index (NMPI) goes further. It considers 12 indicators across health, education, and living standards. This approach recognizes that poverty is not just about money, but also about access to services and opportunities. The NMPI helps identify those who are deprived in multiple ways, allowing for more targeted and effective policies to reduce poverty. India has seen significant progress in reducing poverty over the past few decades. In the 1990s, the proportion of people living below the poverty line declined from 45% to 37%. By 2021, the multidimensional poverty rate had fallen to 15%. This means millions of people have escaped poverty, especially in rural areas. However, challenges remain, and the pace of reduction varies across states and social groups. National Multidimensional Poverty Index uses 12 indicators to determine if a household is multidimensionally poor. These include nutrition, child and adolescent mortality, maternal health, years of schooling, school attendance, cooking fuel, sanitation, drinking water, housing, electricity, assets, and bank account ownership. If a household is deprived in several of these areas, it is classified as multidimensionally poor. This comprehensive approach helps identify the most vulnerable and target support where it's needed most. Poverty is not evenly distributed across India. Some states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Punjab have managed to reduce poverty rates to below 10%. Others, such as Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan, still face higher levels. Different states have adopted various strategies from land reforms to public food distribution to tackle poverty. Understanding these disparities is crucial for designing effective policies that address local needs. Certain social and economic groups in India are more vulnerable to poverty. Scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, rural agricultural laborers, and urban casual laborers are among the most affected. Women, elderly people, and female infants in poor families often face additional disadvantages. Addressing the needs of these groups is essential for making progress towards reducing poverty for everyone. Poverty is a global issue, not limited to India. International organizations like the World Bank use a standard poverty line of $2.15 per person per day to compare countries. Globally, the proportion of people living in extreme poverty has fallen from 16.27% in 2010 to 9.05% in 2019. However, regional differences remain, with sub-Saharan Africa and parts of South Asia still facing high poverty rates. Rapid economic growth in countries like China has led to dramatic reductions in poverty. Different countries have varying poverty rates. For example, in 2021, India had 11.9% of its population living below $2.15 a day, while China had reduced this figure to just 0.1%. Nigeria, on the other hand, had a much higher rate at 30.9%. These differences highlight the impact of economic growth, government policies, and social factors on poverty reduction. Understanding these comparisons helps put India's progress in a global context. United Nations has set 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, to be achieved by 2030, with the first goal focusing on ending poverty in all its forms. India is committed to reducing the proportion of people living in poverty by half. Achieving these goals requires coordinated efforts from both developed and developing countries, focusing on health, education, equality, and sustainable development. Poverty in India has deep historical roots. Colonial policies destroyed traditional industries and limited economic growth, leading to fewer job opportunities and low incomes. Rapid population growth, unequal land distribution, and lack of effective land reforms have also contributed. Social and cultural factors such as spending on ceremonies and lack of savings often push families into debt. These interconnected causes make poverty a persistent challenge. Cities grew, many people migrated in search of better jobs. However, not everyone found stable employment. Many ended up working as rickshaw pullers, vendors, or construction workers, earning irregular incomes. Unable to afford proper housing, they settled in slums on the city outskirts. These areas often lack basic services, making urban poverty a growing concern alongside rural poverty. Major feature of poverty in India is the huge gap between the rich and the poor. Unequal distribution of land and resources means that many people remain trapped in poverty despite economic growth. High levels of indebtedness, especially among small farmers, further deepen the divide. Addressing income inequality is essential for making progress in poverty reduction. Since the 1980s, India's economic growth has accelerated, helping to reduce poverty. Higher growth rates create more opportunities and resources for investment in human development. As incomes rise, families are more likely to send their children to school and invest in their future. However, growth alone is not enough. Targeted policies are needed to ensure that the benefits reach the most vulnerable. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, MGNRGA, launched in 2005, aims to provide 100 days of wage employment to every rural household. It focuses on sustainable development, addressing issues like drought and soil erosion. 1/3 of the jobs are reserved for women, and wage rates are regularly revised. MGNRGA has played a key role in improving rural livelihoods and reducing poverty. Pradhan Mantri Poshan Shakti Abhiyan is a flagship program aimed at improving child nutrition and school attendance. It provides nutritious meals to students from classes I to VII in government schools. This initiative not only addresses hunger but also encourages regular school attendance, helping children from disadvantaged backgrounds focus on their studies and build a better future. Launched in 2016, the Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan aims to reduce maternal and infant mortality by providing quality antenatal care to pregnant women. The scheme ensures regular checkups and safe pregnancies, especially for women in rural and marginalized communities. By addressing gaps in maternal care, this program helps improve health outcomes for mothers and children. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, PMUI, was launched to provide clean cooking fuel (LPG) to poor households, especially in rural areas. By replacing traditional fuels like wood and coal, the scheme improves health, reduces environmental damage, and empowers women. Connections are issued in the name of female family members, promoting gender equality and participation in social and economic activities. Despite progress, poverty reduction remains India's most compelling challenge. Wide disparities exist between rural and urban areas and among different states and social groups. Continued efforts are needed to ensure that economic growth benefits everyone, with a focus on universal education, women's empowerment, and support for the most vulnerable. Only then can India hope to achieve its poverty reduction goals. Poverty is more than just a lack of income. The concept of human poverty includes access to education, healthcare, job security, and self-confidence. It also considers freedom from discrimination and child labor. As societies develop, the definition of poverty evolves, highlighting the need for a broader approach that addresses all aspects of human well-being. Government interventions, such as targeted welfare schemes and economic reforms, have played a significant role in reducing poverty. The decline in multidimensional poverty in states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan is a testament to the impact of these policies. Continued innovation and effective implementation are key to sustaining progress and reaching those still left behind. In this video, we explored the different approaches to measuring poverty, the causes and consequences, and the role of government in addressing the issue. We saw how poverty is multidimensional, affecting health, education, and living standards. While significant progress has been made, much work remains to be done to ensure that every Indian can live with dignity and opportunity. As India continues its journey towards development, reducing poverty remains a top priority. Achieving this goal will require sustained economic growth, inclusive policies, and a focus on human development. By working together, government, communities, and individuals can create a future where poverty is no longer a barrier to opportunity and well-being.
Food security is a critical concept that has evolved over the decades. In the 1970s, it was mainly about having enough food available at all times. However, economist Amartya Sen introduced the idea of entitlements, emphasizing not just the availability but also the access to food. Today, food security means that everyone at all times has physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food to lead an active and healthy life. This includes the ability to afford food and the assurance that it is available and accessible, especially for the most vulnerable populations. The eradication of poverty is essential to improve access to food for all. Food security is more than just having enough to eat. It has three main dimensions: availability, accessibility, and affordability. Availability refers to the production, import, and storage of food within a country. Accessibility means that food is within reach of every person, regardless of where they live. Affordability ensures that individuals have enough resources to buy safe and nutritious food to meet their dietary needs. These dimensions work together to ensure that everyone can lead a healthy life, and any disruption in one can threaten food security. Natural disasters like earthquakes, droughts, floods, and tsunamis can severely affect food security. When a calamity strikes, food production often drops, leading to shortages in affected areas. As a result, food prices rise, making it difficult for many people, especially the poor, to afford basic necessities. If such situations persist or cover large areas, they can lead to starvation and even famine. Ensuring food security means being prepared for such emergencies and having systems in place to support those in need. Famine is a severe situation where widespread deaths occur due to starvation and diseases caused by contaminated food and water. The most devastating famine in India was the Bengal famine of 1943, which claimed the lives of around 3 million people. The hardest hit were agricultural laborers, fishermen, transport workers, and other casual laborers who could not afford the skyrocketing prices of rice. Famines highlight the importance of ensuring food security for all, especially the most vulnerable. Food security is essential because the poorest sections of society are often food insecure, especially during times of crisis. Even those above the poverty line can become food insecure when disasters strike. Ensuring food security means making sure that enough food is available, everyone can afford it, and there are no barriers to access. This is crucial for the well-being of the entire population and for preventing tragedies like famine. In India, food insecurity affects a large section of the population. The worst affected are landless people, traditional artisans, self-employed workers, and destitutes, including beggars. In urban areas, families with members in ill-paid or casual jobs are most at risk. Social factors also play a role, with scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and some other backward classes being more vulnerable due to poor land holdings or low productivity. Natural disasters and migration further increase the risk of food insecurity. Ramu is a casual agricultural laborer in Raipur village. His family survives on seasonal work, with his eldest son looking after cattle and his wife working part-time as a house cleaner. During the off-season, Ramu is often unemployed for about 4 months, forcing his family to struggle for basic meals. Sometimes his children go to bed hungry. Ramu's story highlights how seasonal unemployment in agriculture can lead to food insecurity, even if nothing as severe as a famine is happening. Even though India has not experienced a famine like Bengal since independence, famine-like conditions still exist in some areas. Natural calamities and pandemics, such as COVID-19, have disrupted food supply chains and impacted economic activity, making food security a continuing challenge. Restrictions on movement and economic slowdowns can quickly turn food insecurity into a crisis for vulnerable populations. Ahmad is a rickshaw puller in Bangalore who migrated with his family in search of work. His income is irregular, and his family's survival depends on his daily earnings. Fortunately, Ahmad has a yellow PDS card, which allows him to buy essentials like wheat, rice, sugar, and kerosene at subsidized rates. This support helps him manage during tough times, showing the importance of government intervention in ensuring food security for the urban poor. Hunger is a key indicator of food insecurity. It can be chronic, caused by consistently inadequate diets, or seasonal, linked to cycles of food production and employment. Chronic hunger is common among the poor who cannot afford enough food for survival. Seasonal hunger affects rural areas during agricultural off-seasons and urban areas when casual work is scarce. Both types of hunger highlight the need for robust food security systems. Over the years, India has made significant progress in reducing both chronic and seasonal hunger. Data shows a steady decline in the percentage of households experiencing hunger, both in rural and urban areas. This improvement is largely due to government interventions, increased food production, and targeted welfare programs. However, continued efforts are needed to eliminate hunger completely. Since independence, India has focused on achieving self-sufficiency in food grains. The Green Revolution, especially in wheat and rice production, transformed Indian agriculture. High-yielding varieties and improved farming techniques led to record harvests, making India self-sufficient in food grains. This achievement has helped the country avoid famines, even during adverse weather conditions. India's food grain production has steadily increased over the decades. Graphs and data show significant growth, with total production reaching over 310 million tons in recent years. States like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and West Bengal have contributed majorly to wheat and rice production. This growth ensures a stable supply of food, even during challenging times. Buffer stock refers to the reserves of food grains, mainly wheat and rice, procured by the government through the Food Corporation of India, FCI. The government buys surplus produce from farmers at a minimum support price and stores it in granaries. This stock is used to distribute food in deficit areas and among the poor at subsidized rates, helping to stabilize prices and ensure food availability during emergencies. Public Distribution System, PDS, is a government initiative to distribute food grains and other essentials through regulated ration shops. With over 5.5 lakh shops across the country, PDS ensures that poor families can buy food at prices lower than the market rate. Any family with a ration card can access these benefits, making PDS a cornerstone of India's food security strategy. Rationing in India began in the 1940s during the Bengal famine. It was revived in the 1960s due to food shortages, and later strengthened in the 1970s with new food intervention programs. Over time, the system has evolved to target the poor more effectively, with special schemes like the Integrated Child Development Services and Food for Work programs. These initiatives have played a vital role in improving food security. In 1997, the Targeted Public Distribution System, TPDS, was introduced to focus benefits on the poor. For the first time, a differential pricing policy was adopted, offering lower prices to those below the poverty line. Special schemes like Antyodaya Anna Yojana and Annapurna scheme were launched to support the poorest and indigent senior citizens. These targeted efforts have made food security programs more efficient and impactful. The National Food Security Act, 2013, marked a major step in ensuring food and nutritional security for all Indians. Under this act, 75% of the rural population and 50% of the urban population are eligible for subsidized food grains. The act aims to provide affordable food and enable people to live with dignity, making food security a legal right for millions. PDS has been effective in stabilizing prices and making food affordable for millions. It has helped prevent widespread hunger and famine by moving food from surplus to deficit regions. However, challenges remain, such as overflowing go-downs, wastage, and malpractices like diversion of grains to the open market. Continuous reforms and better management are needed to maximize the impact of PDS. In recent years, the stock of wheat and rice with the government has far exceeded the minimum buffer norms. While this ensures food availability, it also leads to high carrying costs, wastage, and deterioration of grain quality. Managing buffer stocks efficiently is crucial to avoid unnecessary losses and ensure that surplus food reaches those who need it most. Minimum Support Price, MSP, is the price at which the government purchases crops from farmers to ensure they get a fair income. MSP encourages farmers to produce more, especially wheat and rice, and helps maintain buffer stocks. However, rising MSPs have also led to increased costs for the government and environmental concerns due to intensive farming in certain regions. Recent data shows a decline in per-person rice consumption in both rural and urban India, while the consumption of PDS rice and wheat has increased. This shift indicates that more people are relying on subsidized food grains from the PDS, highlighting its importance in ensuring food security for the poor. Despite their importance, ration shops face several issues. Dealers sometimes divert grains to the open market for higher profits, sell poor quality grains, or open shops irregularly. These malpractices lead to unsold stocks and reduce the effectiveness of the PDS. Addressing these problems is essential for improving food security. Cooperatives play a vital role in food security, especially in southern and western India. They run fair price shops, provide milk and vegetables at controlled rates, and support local farmers. Examples include Mother Dairy in Delhi and Amul in Gujarat. In Maharashtra, NGOs like the Academy of Development Science have set up grain banks, helping communities manage food shortages effectively. Innovative interventions like grain banks and capacity building by NGOs have strengthened food security in many regions. These efforts, often in partnership with local communities, help ensure that food is available during emergencies and that vulnerable groups have access to essentials. Such models are being replicated across the country to enhance resilience. Food security in India is ensured when all citizens have access to enough nutritious food, can afford it, and face no barriers in obtaining it. The government has developed a comprehensive system involving buffer stocks, the PDS, and various poverty alleviation programs. Cooperatives and NGOs also play a significant role. However, challenges like malpractices, wastage, and regional disparities remain, requiring ongoing efforts and innovation. Several government schemes contribute to food security, including the Integrated Child Development Services, ICDS, Food for Work FFW, Midday Meals, and Antyodaya Anna Yojana AAY. These programs target different vulnerable groups, providing food, nutrition, and employment support. Their combined impact has been crucial in reducing hunger and improving nutrition across the country. Food insecurity is not evenly spread across India. Economically backward states, tribal and remote areas, and regions prone to natural disasters have higher rates of food insecurity. States like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Orissa, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, and parts of Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra account for the largest number of food insecure people. Addressing these disparities is essential for nationwide food security. Subsidies are payments made by the government to keep consumer prices low while ensuring fair income for producers. In the context of food security, subsidies help make essential food items affordable for the poor, while supporting farmers through guaranteed prices. However, managing subsidies efficiently is important to avoid wastage and ensure that benefits reach those who need them most. India has made great strides in ensuring food security, but challenges remain. Issues like malpractices in ration shops, regional disparities, environmental concerns, and changing consumption patterns need ongoing attention. Strengthening monitoring, improving storage and distribution, and supporting innovative community-based solutions will be key to achieving food security for all in the future.